Hello, in this video we're going to take a look at a couple of other features of Turtle. So we notice we already have our import and our show turtle set up. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to set up the dot command, and let's see what happens with it. I'm just going to move forward a little bit and then drop another dot and then move forward one last time so we can sort of see what this is doing. So the dot command is a really useful way of sort of leaving behind a breadcrumb, um, see what it is that it looks like. So you can see it literally just draws a dot for us. So that can be really useful if you're trying to create something where you want to know where like joints are or something like that. But we can also draw circles, because circles are sort of hard to draw with just angle things, right? So again, if we use our dot here, we'll see it's going to pop up and we can create a circle that is whatever size we want. And watch what happens here. This is a little interesting, I think. When we run the circle, we didn't necessarily have control over the direction of the circle, right? We just started to draw it upwards. So you have to be a little careful when you start using things like the circle function, because you don't necessarily know what it has in terms of default values. And so sometimes that may do things different than you might expect. So we have one other interesting problem here. If I want to move the turtle from here up here to draw something else, right now we would leave a big line from point A to point B. So let's see if we can fix that. So if we do again our turtle dot, you're going to see that there's an option here called pen, and we actually have the ability to do pen up and pen down. So if we do dot pen, you'll see that we can actually set a lot of things about the pen, right? We can do pen up, we can do pen down. Those are going to pick up and put down our pen. You can change the size of the pen or the color of the pen. So let's do a pen up. It's going to lift the pen up. And then let's move a little bit. And let's move by setting our position. This is another neat trick that we can do that's going to let us jump around. So let's set our position. And you'll notice here, when I open that parenthesis, we got a little bit of a help feature. This is another nice thing about libraries when you've got them built correctly, is that you can give some help to the end user. So I need the X and Y coordinate that I'd like to go to. So let's jump back to the midpoint. That should be 0. Let's jump up a little bit here. So let's put Y at like 200 and see what happens. And let's see how we did. All right. And if this thing doesn't disappear, it's just a bug. You can click off it, click back. So there's our big circle. And notice it jumped right there. And I will say the other nice thing about this is you notice it kept the directionality of my turtle, which is pretty useful. So we have the ability now to teleport around. We also noticed that we could do things like set the pen's color, right? So let's put the pens back down. Again, I'm waiting to see these pop up so that you can see it. Pen down. And then let's also set the pen's color. Turtle dot pen color. And this is another one where we can have to say what the pen color happens to be. Let's say red. Let's see if this works. We don't know what commands are available to us, so let's just see. All right. Well, no errors, right? Oh, there it is. The name red is not defined. So we didn't have an arrow over here, but we had an arrow over here. So when we're setting colors, if we just put in the word red, it thinks it's a variable. But we want it to actually be the string red. And to make it a little clearer, let's also just move ourselves forward a little bit, just so that we can see it. You'll notice I switched this from the variable red by not putting anything around it to having quotation marks around it, so it's now the string red. Let's see if it's happier now. There we go. And we even have a nice little red outline on our turtle, and we have a red line. So we can do the same thing here with some background stuff. Maybe we want to set the background color as well. Let's set the turtle dot background color. And in this case, it's going to use a shortcut. It's actually going to be BG color. So sometimes you got to look around a little bit to find it. Oops. And let's set that to blue. And now let's see what happens. Alright, so we didn't actually see any change here yet, right? So that's because what happened? What did I forget? Blue was not defined. Just like before, gotta make sure that we put those quotation marks around it. Now let's try it one more time. There we go. Now it turned blue. And you'll notice though, it waited to turn blue until it got to that line of code. So if we wanted this blue the whole time, we would have to move that line of code back up top. So that's it for sort of the intermediate turtle. The last thing that we're going to do with turtle in the next video is we'll see how we could use turtles to write text to the screen.